You're lying in bed, phone in your hand. Her message is still open. 2 nights ago she was warm, laughing, leaning in, telling you things she doesn't tell people. And now? Dry replies, slower energy, a weird emotional fog you can feel through the screen. So you start replaying everything. The joke you made, the timing of your text. That one moment her tone shifted and you instantly felt it in your chest. And your mind goes there. Did I come on too strong? Did I ask for too much? Was she ever really into me? Why does this always go cold right when it starts feeling real? Here's the truth most men never hear. A dismissive, avoidant woman usually doesn't pull away because the connection is weak. She pulls away because the connection is starting to feel strong. You're not crazy. This isn't about you being broken, needy, or not enough. Most guys feel this exact confusion, and nobody ever explains what's actually happening underneath it. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what a healthy relationship feels like to a dismissive avoidant, what instantly makes her shut down, and how to move in a way that creates safety instead of resistance. Let's get into it. Most guys believe a healthy relationship with a dismissive avoidant means one thing: give her unlimited space, never bring up needs, and just be chill enough that she never feels pressured. But the real truth is deeper than that. Way deeper. A dismissive avoidant woman is not looking for less connection. She's looking for connection that doesn't feel like a trap. That's the mindset shift. Most guys focus on closeness as proof. She focuses on closeness as cost. She doesn't just think about the relationship. She senses it. She feels the energy of it. She feels whether your presence is grounded or whether your vibe says, "Make me feel okay." And when her nervous system senses pressure, her energy shifts. A wall goes up. Her gut tells her something is off. Not because she doesn't care, not because she's cold, not because she's impossible to love. Because somewhere deep down, closeness has been linked to losing freedom, losing control, or being emotionally overwhelmed. So when things start getting real, her system often says, back up, breathe, regain space. And here's the thing. A healthy relationship to her is not high passion, high drama, constant reassurance, and emotional overexposure. It's quiet, predictable, respectful, clear. It has room to breathe. It feels emotionally safe without feeling emotionally demanding. It's less fireworks, more grounded fire. Your energy is the message before your mouth even opens. That's when attraction either tightens up or starts to relax. And once you understand that, the whole game changes. So let's break down the 7 things a dismissive avoidant usually means when she thinks of a healthy relationship. 1. Space is not rejection. Here's the part nobody talks about. Most guys treat her need for space like a relationship emergency. You feel distance, so you push for reassurance. You text more. You ask what changed. You try to close the gap instantly because your brain reads space as danger. But for a dismissive avoidant woman, space often feels like regulation. It's how she settles her system. It's how she gets back to calm. When closeness gets intense, she doesn't always feel more connected. Sometimes she feels flooded. And when she feels flooded, she pulls back to feel like herself again. That doesn't mean every withdrawal is healthy, but it does mean your first move matters. Wrong approach. Why are you being weird? You've been distant all day. If you cared, you wouldn't disappear like this. Right approach. Looks like you need a little space. All good. Let's talk tomorrow when you're more settled. No pressure, just keep it real with me. Do you see the difference? One approach chases, the other stays grounded. One says, fix my anxiety. The other says, I can handle silence without collapsing. And silence matters, man. Silence between words is like silence between musical notes. That's where the rhythm lives. When you can hold that silence without panicking, her brain stops hearing pressure and starts thinking, okay, I can breathe around him. And when you do that, she feels space without losing connection. 2. Pressure feels like danger. This is the one most guys completely miss. Most guys think more effort always equals more love. So they push for the deep talk, the label, the constant texting, the instant certainty. They think, if I just show her how serious I am, she'll finally relax. But with a dismissive avoidant, pressure rarely feels romantic. It feels invasive. She doesn't just hear your words, she feels the force behind them. And if the energy says, respond now, reassure me now, define this now, her nervous system hears control, not care. That's why a lot of men accidentally create the exact shutdown they fear. Not by wanting connection. Wanting connection is human. But by trying to force emotional timing that her system is not ready for. Wrong approach. So what are we? Why are you so hard to read? I need to know where this is going tonight. Right approach. I like where this is going. I'm interested, and I'm not in a rush. When you're ready to talk about it, we can. That's not passivity. That's strength. Not clingy, not controlling, not emotionally numb, but calm, direct, and grounded. And here's what changes everything. When you stop pushing for emotional speed, she often stops feeling like she has to protect herself from you. Her inner voice shifts from, he's trying to manage me, to, he feels safe enough to stay present with. That's when pressure leaves the room, and she feels less trapped and more open. 3. Calm beats chemistry. And here's where it gets interesting. Most guys think a healthy relationship has to feel intense. Big sparks, constant contact, emotional highs, crazy chemistry. The kind of vibe that feels addictive from day one. But a dismissive avoidant woman often doesn't trust intensity. She may even be drawn to it at first, but her body usually doesn't read it as safety. It reads it as instability waiting to happen. And once that happens, her energy shifts fast. Healthy to her often looks boring to the average man. Not lifeless, not passionless, not friend zone energy, but low chaos, steady, and emotionally breathable. That's why the guy who's magnetic here is rarely the loudest guy. It's the grounded one, the one whose presence stays calm when the mood changes, the one who doesn't turn every dip in energy into a dramatic story, the one who can enjoy her without trying to emotionally consume her. Wrong approach. Late-night emotional spirals, non-stop texting, then pulling her into another serious conversation because the vibe dipped for 6 hours. Right approach. A clean plan. A real conversation. Then letting the connection breathe. You see her on Friday. You're present. You're genuine. You don't oversell anything. Then you leave her with space and steadiness, not emotional static. Conversation isn't a performance, bro. It's a dance. And in a dance, rhythm matters more than force. When your energy feels effortless instead of urgent, she starts thinking, why does this feel so calm? And why do I keep replaying it? That's emotional caffeine for her brain, and that's when calm starts feeling magnetic. 4. Clarity is kindness. Here's the part that saves you months. Most guys get vague when they're afraid of pushing her away, so they hint, they overread, they send mixed signals because they think ambiguity feels safer than honesty. It doesn't. Not with a dismissive avoidant. A woman with this pattern usually hates emotional chaos, but she also hates emotional guessing games. If she has to decode your mood, guess your expectations, or wonder when the next heavy conversation is coming, her system stays on edge. And when she feels edge, she creates distance. Healthy feels clear, simple, predictable, real. Wrong approach, we need to talk. That line alone can make her shut down before the talk even starts. Right approach, hey, I want to talk about Saturday and how we handle plans. Or, I like you, and I also do best with consistency. Can we be clearer with each other? See that? Specific beats dramatic. Clean beats loaded. Most guys think clarity kills attraction, but the real truth is, clarity lowers threat. It makes you feel emotionally safe to be around because she's not bracing for hidden pressure or surprise emotional debt. This isn't a trick. This is who you're becoming. A man whose words match his energy. A man whose presence feels grounded enough that people don't have to guess around him. And when you communicate that way, she feels less cornered, less defensive, and more able to stay in the room with you. 5. Love looks practical before it looks poetic. This one is huge. Most guys want love to be verbally obvious, so if she's not constantly affirming, praising, or emotionally overflowing, they assume she doesn't care enough. But a dismissive avoidant woman often experiences and shows care in quieter ways. Subtle check-ins, practical help, remembering details, showing up when it matters, solving something for you, respecting your routines, keeping her word. It may not look cinematic, but to her, that is real. Because deep down, practical reliability feels safer than emotional performance. Grand speeches can feel intense. Habits feel believable. Words can feel slippery. Consistency feels solid. Wrong approach. You never say how you feel. If you cared, you'd be more expressive. Right approach. I notice the little things you do. I pay attention to consistency more than performance. Or even simpler, you ask for what you need clearly, without shaming her style. And here's the thing. When you learn to recognize subtle care, you stop misreading quiet as absence. You also stop begging for proof in forms that don't match how she naturally regulates connection. That doesn't mean you settle for scraps. It means you learn the language before you judge the sentence. Most guys miss this because they're chasing dramatic reassurance. But when you can see the genuine signal inside the quieter behavior, her brain starts saying, "He actually gets me. He's not trying to turn me into someone else." And when that happens, she feels understood instead of evaluated. 6. Vulnerability must feel chosen, not extracted. Here's the secret most men ruin by trying too hard. Most guys see her guarded side and think their job is to crack her open. So they interrogate. They over-pursue. They keep digging because they think intimacy means getting her to confess everything fast. That almost never works. Why? Because to her, forced vulnerability feels like emotional trespassing. A dismissive avoidant woman usually opens through safety, not pressure. Through repetition, not performance. Through your calm presence over time, not your ability to get her talking on command. Wrong approach. Tell me what you're really feeling. Why can't you just open up? You never let me in. Right approach. You go first, but lightly. I had a weird day. Needed a minute to reset. Then you leave room. No pressure. No emotional spotlight. No hidden demand for her to match you instantly. That's what most guys don't understand. Vulnerability is not a courtroom. It's not a hostage negotiation. It's more like a scared animal coming closer when the room stays quiet enough. But here's what changes everything. When she feels that your openness is genuine and not a trap, her inner voice shifts to, maybe I don't have to defend myself here. Then, later, almost out of nowhere, she shares something real, something deeper, something she didn't have to share. That's not luck. That's safety. And when you do that, she feels permission instead of pressure. And that's when real intimacy begins. 7. A healthy relationship still has two people. This is the final point. And honestly, man, it's the one that protects you. Most guys hear all of this and swing too far. They become endlessly patient, endlessly understanding, endlessly available. They start calling self-abandonment maturity because they think accommodating her wounds will finally make her choose closeness. That is not healthy. Not for her, not for you, not for the relationship. A dismissive avoidance idea of a healthy relationship includes autonomy, yes, but secure love still needs reciprocity. It still needs honesty. It still needs some form of emotional effort from both people. If you erase yourself to keep the peace, the connection might stay alive on paper, but it won't feel real. Wrong approach. Take all the time you need. I'll wait forever. Whatever works for you is fine. That sounds generous, but underneath it is fear. Right approach. I respect your need for space, and I also need consistency. I'm not asking for constant contact, but I do need clarity. I'm open to building this slowly, not one-sidedly. That is powerful. Not harsh, not needy, not a threat. Just grounded self-respect. And here's why this matters. When you hold boundaries without heat, she doesn't just feel your standards. She feels your nervous system. She feels that you're not trying to control her, but you're also not available for emotional fog forever. Her brain often reads that as real masculinity, real presence, real stability. Then the thought becomes, he's not chasing me, but he's not abandoning himself either. And when you do that, she feels both safety and respect, which is the exact combination that gives a healthy connection a chance. So at the deepest level, This isn't about learning how to handle a dismissive avoidant woman. It's about becoming the kind of man who can stay calm around mixed signals, clear without becoming controlling, and open without begging to be met. When you internalize that mindset, you stop performing for closeness and start creating the kind of presence closeness can actually trust. These aren't tactics. These are identity upgrades. This is what becoming more grounded looks like. You stop trying to force love to happen on your timeline, and you start moving like a man whose energy is settled inside his own skin. So remember this line. Stop trying to force closeness. Become the kind of presence closeness can trust. And if you want the next step, watch the next video on how to communicate with a dismissive avoidant without triggering distance. Because understanding what healthy feels like to her is one thing. Knowing how to talk, text, and lead the connection in real time, that's where everything changes.